Let's start by talking about interest rates in the Fed. Predictions about when the Fed is actually going to cut interest rates. They've been all over the board. It was estimated to have as many as 6 at the start of the year, if not more. Now they're saying a lot of the people are betting it's going to happen in September. Here's senior wealth advisor Holly Neiman-Croft on CNBC recently.
Now, the market is not the best predictor of interest rate cuts. You'll remember in January, they were predicting 7 or 8 cuts. Last month, they were predicting 0 cuts. Today, they're expecting about 2 or 3 rate cuts this year, starting in September. So we're expecting a cut, and that's good for the market.
So here we are in August and, September next month. I think we all know that with calendars. Is this the last call to lock in attractive interest rates on fixed income products?
Well, that's a great question. We've had this on the show several times, and it's like the interest rates, are they going to go up? Are they going to go up? And there were all kinds of predictions on that, and we've talked about this. Dave, you and I have talked about this a lot. And one of the things we've been saying now for I'd say at least all of this year and a good part of last year was, invest and get some lock in on those high interest rates right now, because they're as good as they've been in many, many years. The HSA accounts that I deal with people, with their investments for their health savings accounts, they're paying high rates. All of these accounts are paying really high rates. So, the question is now the last time to lock in a good interest rate? What's your take on this? I know we were talking before the show a little bit about that, and you had some pretty good information about it.
We're in a presidential election year. The Federal Reserve is supposed to be a nonpartisan, non-political entity. So I would imagine if an interest cut's going to come in September, there are going to be some people that like to wear red that are going to have issues with it, because they'll think that the Democrats are trying to buy votes by seeing interest rates cut. But let's take, for example, if it does happen in September, it's not like the minute they cut the rates that the market's going to follow. So it could very well be, if they do a cut in September, a cut in November, let's say you do 2. Consumers may not see any result of that in their ability to borrow at a lower rate or invest at a lower rate, maybe until January of 25. So it's not an immediate impact, but I personally feel that they're going to delay it till after the election, so no one can say that was a manipulator in terms of trying to win over undecided voters.
Well, that's a big hot topic this year. It's the turmoil in, we were talking before we actually came on the air a little bit about politics, which you don't ever necessarily want to do depending on the environment that you're in. But, you bring up a really good point, because they have to stay nonpartisan. I mean, it is truly whatever is going to be in the best interest to boost the economy in that. You think 2 September, November possibly might be what they're looking at?
Could be November, December.
Yeah.
It's just going to be interesting to see how it plays and how they're going to try and sell it. But the Fed really tries to be non-political.
Sure. So I guess the answer is now a good time. Is now a good time to lock in? Yeah, absolutely. You can lock in right now. Is it the last good time to lock in? Probably not. Maybe don't do any rash lock-ins at this point, but you definitely see some rate cuts coming. At some point, they're going to have some rate cuts to keep the economy rolling, and hopefully they can lower the inflation and get some things back in order. We'll see what this election brings. It's going to be pretty crazy. I'm kind of anxious to see how that plays out, but you never know. Chris, I don't know how things are going down there with you guys, but what are you seeing? The grumblings on the streets, the people you talk to.
I mean, it's just people, being affected by obviously higher inflation, things costing more these days. That is why the interest rates have been as high as they have been up until this point, as they've tried to get inflation under wraps. The Fed inflation, which by the way in 2021 they were calling transitory.
Right.
But I digress. Here we are now. It looks like they finally got a grasp on it, and they're going towards that soft landing they've been aiming for. So interest rates down the line in the future seem likely. And the truth of it is that you want to make sure that when it comes to your retirement plan, you want it to be as apolitical as possible. That it's easier said than done, but you want to know. Sometimes, DC is going to be red, sometimes it's going to be blue. You don't want to have a plan that is dictated by that every couple of years. You want something that's going to withstand whatever may come down the line, but being aware and making the changes whenever possible. I know that's what you guys do at America's Retirement Headquarters, is creating that agnostic, apolitical plan for people, to their comfort level, of course. But it all gets started by reaching out and scheduling a time to speak with them. 419-794-3030. That's the number once again, 419-794-3030. This